everyone. This is Pastor Jacob, and we are in week 8 of our Bible study, Better Together. I've shared in previous weeks how Ephesus experienced one of the most tremendous revivals in all of the Bible. I mean, demons were coming out. False religions were being destroyed. Tremendous miracles. It was one of the most incredible works of God. And Ephesians gives us a lot to say about how we can also see a mighty revival. Again, I believe for the third time in a significant way, the Apostle Paul begins to talk about the idea of unity. In fact, we'll read the verse, Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 1. I, a prisoner of the Lord, beseech you, walk worthy of the calling with which you are called, with lowliness, gentleness, long-suffering, bearing one another in love. And watch what he says, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit. Now, we all have the call of God on our life. I believe that God desires to pour out His Spirit in mighty revival, even in our church. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to keep unity? Well, you may instantly begin to think, well, we got to deal with divisive people. Oh, if we got rid of that Jezebel, there's this false prophet, or this person is just so emotional, or whatever. We can think, and we immediately, isn't it interesting? We always think about what other people need to do. But the emphasis of this particular passage, you'll notice he says, walk worthy of the calling with which you were called. Now, I put this in your notes, but the phrase walk worthy in the Greek is actually only one word, and it means to carry sufficient weight. Now, if we're going to see the unity of the Spirit, here's the thing. You're only responsible for your walk. You're the only person who can carry the weight that God has called you to carry. You are the only one who can walk worthy on your behalf. So here's the emphasis. You want to know how we're going to walk in unity? Stop worrying about what so-and-so is doing or not doing, the way they're talking or not talking. You need to worry about your walk. What is the weight God has called you to do? You see, we've all got wounds. We've all had betrayals. We've all got hurts. We all have shortcomings and moments of failure. And we can look and we can say, man, I was raised in this kind of church. Oh, you don't understand the kind of marriage I have, or my kids, or my parents are Stop it. What has God called you to do? What is God asking you to do in a particular moment? That's what you and I are responsible for. We need to walk worthy of the calling with which God called us. So, I don't know if that speaks to you already, but there's actually a checklist that he continues to give. I read it a moment ago. I went over it very quickly. But check yourself in this. How are you doing? This begins in verse 2, in humility. Are you considering others better than yourselves? Are you serving one another in love, even as Jesus did? Next, it says meekness. Now, some translations will say gentleness, but I like meekness. Meekness is not weakness. Meekness literally means controlled power. So there were moments where Jesus even said, I could call down fire from heaven. I could call and a legion of angels would come. I mean, Jesus could have squashed people in an instant, at a thought. But instead, he loved them, he served them, he blessed them. Jesus demonstrated what meekness, it's controlled power. Are you modeling meekness? Next, it says long-suffering. Long-suffering literally means long-tempered. It's the opposite of being short-tempered. Are you willing to suffer along with and on behalf of people? Very important. Next, it says bearing one another in love. Literally carrying individuals. And you see, when we begin to look at it that way, what is my weight to carry? And we begin to run through that checklist, we'll begin to carry the responsibility of unity ourselves. But then you watch. There will be moments that you notice so-and-so is falling short, so-and-so is not carrying their weight. And you know what the Bible says we do? We don't cast them out. We don't judge them. We don't call other people and tell them about what's going on. No, it says that you are to bear one another in love. That means if you see something that's out of place, you do what's in your power to help build them up. Oh my goodness. There's a lot in this, but this is an essential key to revival. If we're going to walk in unity, if we're going to see a move of God, we need to carry our own weight.